part 2. In this part, I want to explain why the healing doesn't happen all at one time, or even with a couple sessions of whatever technique you use for healing. This happens or don't happen because they are linked to some other aspects. I call them the connected peripheral aspects, right? And what does that mean is, say you want to heal your fear of confrontation. You have a fear of confrontation. You want to heal your fear of confrontation. After working with this particular emotion, or the fear of the emotion, or not the fear of the emotion, the fear of confrontation, working with the particular issue, whether one session with hypnosis or inner child work or catharsis, whatever it is that you use for your personal healing through your coach or your spiritual teacher or whatever. After a while, you will realize that this issue, you don't really deal with it as much. You're pretty much healed from it. But there's still going to be some mild leftover effects on your body, on your being, on your emotions. You're still going to deal with it. In other words, you're still going to deal with it to a certain extent, but not as much as it used to be. The reason for this is because of the connected peripheral aspects, meaning this emotion was linked to some other emotions and some other memory within your life, and they still exist within you because you've dealt with this emotion and not so much the others. They still exist because you associated the fear of confrontation with these to some degree. You've associated them with it, or it comes with the memory of it. What I mean by this is, say you had the fear of confrontation and you've healed it. Because you still have fear of your father, there is still some issues of fear of confrontation within your being, because you associated the fear of your father with confrontation, or there was a memory in which you had to confront your father, and it was hard for you. So that memory is linked to the fear of confrontation. So you still have father issues. So until you deal with your father issues, you still have some level of the fear of confrontation within you. Another example is the fear of weakness is linked to the fear of confrontation, because you're afraid of weakness and you see confrontation as intimidation. So you link intimidation to weakness, because if you're intimidated by somebody, you feel weak. So that fear of weakness is still linked to the fear of confrontation. So when you start to deal with your fear of weakness, you will further help to heal the negative vibrations or the negative effects of the fear of confrontation within your body. And if you have self-doubt that you link to the fear of confrontation, maybe you've always doubted that you will ever get over the fear of confrontation, or you doubt yourself when it comes to confrontation. You doubt that you'll confront this person, or even if you confront them, you doubt that you'll do it in a strong way where you leave an effect on this person. So that doubt extends extend to the fear of confrontation and your self-doubt in general. So when you start to deal with your self-doubt issues, you'll also help to pretty much break away the issues that you have with the fear of confrontation. Along with, if you dealt with this first, if you dealt with this one first, you'll take away some aspect of it outside of your being. If you dealt with this one first, then there will still be some fragments of it within your body. Go check out the first video. Emotional healing happens in layer first, so you could understand this one. It's important. So let's say another peripheral aspect that is connected to the fear of confrontation is deserving. You might associate deserving with the fear of confrontation because you always feel as though whatever you need to confront somebody about, or you need to ask somebody for something, so it make you feel as though you don't deserve that something. And because you feel as though you don't deserve that something, it extends to the fear of confrontation. So if you dealt with the fear of confrontation first, there's still going to be certain aspects of fear of confrontation in your body because it was still linked to your issues with deserving. So once you dealt with the issues with deserving and healed those aspects, you will again help to further lessen the effects of the negative effects of the fear of confrontation within your body. So basically, after healing this issue, fear of confrontation, there's still going to be some left in your body based on the fact that they were linked to these peripherals. So after you dealt with this, then deal with these, you will realize that this fear of confrontation, which is the original emotion that you wanted to work with, is now has now subsided to a significant amount or to a significant level because you've dealt with pretty much all, if not most, of the issues with the fear of confrontation, everything surrounding it, everything that is involved and connected and associated with it. So it's important for you to do this and understand that this is why healing happens in layers. It's not going to be a one-time thing. You have to continue work on this main emotion, probably more than once, and then deal with the other emotions because they are linked to that main emotion, whatever the main emotion might be. So this is important so you to understand that you need to continue with your healing process. Don't stop and believe that because you start to feel the fear of confrontation again, even though you dealt with it before and you thought you healed it before, it doesn't mean that it's coming back up as much as it did. It's just that because you went out in the world and you start to think negative emotions or you start to deal with certain issues, it comes back up in the amount that is left. The rest of it is coming up because it's linked to these other things. So once you start to deal with these other things, you realize that you have further and integrated these emotions or this emotion within itself along with these even further for the most part and maybe all together. So I want people to understand that.